Hey guys, and in this short video I want to go over getting input from the user via the console. So C++ provides different methods of getting input and each one behaves in a certain way. In this lesson we'll be going over two methods of getting input from the user, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. So by the end of this lesson you should know how to input data using both the cin method as well as the getLine method. So the first method we'll be going over is the cin method. The syntax is very similar to that of the cout method. One of the important things to note with cin is that it automatically passes the inputted data into the data type of the variable you are inputting to. So what this basically means is that if you want to input an integer, it will automatically take the input from the user and pass it into an integer. One thing to note about cin is that it splits the inputted data into separate values based on the white space in the inputted data. So to see what I mean, let's look at an example. Say we wanted to input our name into a variable called name. If we used a single variable, our code would look as follows. So if we ran this in the console, we would get the following prompt, and then we'd just enter in our own name. So now you might think that name, the variable name, is now equal to the string Ivan Cole, but this isn't the case. Because cin splits the inputted line by white space into separate values, our name variable will only get the first value before the space. Hence name will actually be equal to Ivan, and not Ivan Cole. And this basically means the rest of the inputted line is ignored. So this is one of the subtle characteristics of cin that tricks many newcomers. We can, however, capture all the different values that are entered into different variables if we want to. Say we wanted someone's full name. We'd create variables for their first, middle, and last name. Our code would look as follows. We'd basically prompt the user, and then we'd have a cin, where you see we have the name, and the middle name, and the surname. So we have three variables here that we're going to be getting data for. So if we look at our console would prompt us, obviously, and then we'd enter in our full name. So as we know, cin splits the line up by white spaces, so we'd have each value, we'd have this value, Christopher, and this value, Carl. So it splits up the line by white spaces and then assigns each value to the respective variable. So if you look, we have name first, so name should be equal to Ivan. Middle name will be equal to Christopher, and surname will be equal to Carl. So while the solution allows us to capture multiple values from a single line, it still doesn't truly let us capture the whole line as a string. And this is where getLine comes to the rescue. Another way of getting user input from a user is by using the getLine method. This method differs from cin as it basically gets the whole line that was input as a string instead of breaking up the inputted line into separate values. One thing to note is that we'll always have a string returned to us, so if you want an integer from the user, you'll have to convert the string manually. If we wanted to input a line with our name into a single variable, the code might look as follows. So if we, in the console, we would be prompted to input our full name, and if we do so, our full name variable will now store the whole line as a string. So full name will be equal to Ivan Cole. And that's basically all there is for this video. As you can see, both methods have their own use cases, and you should look at your requirements and choose the most appropriate method of input. I hope you found this video useful, and in the next video we'll be going over some of the basic arithmetic operators that C++ provides us with.